After this lesson, you are going to know how to apply the CAGED system to your jazz playing. So you'll know how to play standards all over the fretboard using basic grips. Let's dig in. The first issue that you want to address is your chord grip knowledge. When I say C major 7, a lot of you just go here and here. And that's basically the end of the story. So this is close position C, drop 2 C, drop 3 C. But those are just finger motions that your hand might just have learned over the years. And when you go to read a chart, you don't want to create a situation where you're just forced to play everything in one location. The idea is to expand every chord symbol you know to the entire neck. So a great exercise to get that going is to work on a turnaround. What's a turnaround? Let's define turnaround in its most basic form in jazz. We have a major 1-6-2-5. So 1 is C major, 6 is A minor, 2 is D minor, 5 is G7. But what I'm really trying to see are the major triad forms that sound comes from. So on the C, this is an A form. On that A minor, this is a G minor form. On that D minor, this is a C minor form. On that G major, this is an E form. So if you don't know this, you gotta revisit your basic CAGED. Here are the basic 5 grips. C major has a C form, A form, G form, E form, D form. C minor has a C minor form, A minor form, G minor form, E minor form, D minor form. I'm just applying that to multiple roots. Now, what I want to do is create a situation where I can just comp in an area without moving at all. So here's 1, 6, 2, 5. Now you'll notice I'm not just playing those basic triad shapes, I'm adding color to them to make them jazzy. So this C major 7 is built from that A area, but I can fish for other notes from the key, from the scale in that area to make it a jazzy chord. What CAGED gives me is an area of play. I think about it like a basketball court where I can play jazz in. So here's that 1-6-2-5. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start walking a bass line on 2 and 4 chromatically. So here's below the roots, meaning 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Now I'm gonna do that from above the roots. That has a more chromatic sound. But I'm still thinking about CAGED. Right? Now the next thing I want to do is refine all these grips up here. Now for the C chord, I need the G form. For the A chord, I need the E minor form. For the D minor, I need the A minor form. And for the G chord, I need that D form. Now the first thing I'm going to run into that's a problem is that this 5 chord, the D form for the G, just doesn't sound jazzy. This sounds like a Bob Dylan tune, so I'm not going to use that. So here's a cool trick that Wes Montgomery used. It's called a tritone sub. So in place of that G7, I'm going to play a D flat major. Here it is in the G form, just a half step up from C. Check this out in the context of the 1-6-2-5. That's a cool sound. If I really insist on playing that G sound, the problem with these D forms is that the root is on the D string, but I could still find like a Hendrix chord here, right? This, just on D strings. So if I want to walk to that, thinking back to the previous area. Okay, now let's extend that to the next caged area. I have an E form for C. Then I have this D minor form for A minor, this G minor form for the D minor, and then this C form for the G. Let's learn how to make that into jazz chords. Well, here's C major 7, A minor 7, Moon River, right? I have this D minor right here. I can make it a D minor 6 or D minor 11. And here's a G7 right here. I can make that into an augmented, whatever I want to do with it. 7 flat 9 in that area. But here's walking. From below. Okay, next area. Here I have a D form for the C, which I'm not going to play all the way from the bottom. I'm going to like find the root and maybe play this form or a C major 6. I have an A minor here with a C minor form, so I'll just use this A minor 9. I have this E minor form for the D minor. I'll just use, I don't know, like a D minor 6 or a D minor 7. And here I have this G, like A form for the G, and I really hate that voicing with a passion, so maybe like with a sharp 11 or a flat 6. So maybe the sound will be like... something like that. So in this position, I have a C form C, an A minor form A minor, a D minor form D minor, and a G form G. But to make them jazzy, I'm going to add a 6-9 to the C, A minor or A minor 7 or A minor 11. I can go D minor 7 and then G7 with a flat 9, even with a 4. That's a nice one. So I can go... Now later on, you just want to mix them up walking. You can just go all over the fretboard. I'm just going 1, 6, 2, 5, but in my mind, it's not like 1,000 grips where I'm some sort of jazz genius. I'm just working from these 5 boxes where I see the chords very clearly. Now let's do exactly the same thing, but with a minor 1, 6, 2, 5. So most of you guys don't even know that that's a thing, which is, you know, unfortunate. But if you listen to the beginning of Round Midnight, right? What's that progression? Right, I'll put it in C. Here's C minor. Imagine it's a Dorian, right? So that's coming from B flat major. Well, all you got to do is pretend that that's your 1 chord in Dorian and go to its 6. So all I'm doing is I'm switching the bass note from C to A. It's exactly what I did with C major and A minor. Right? I have the C major on top of a C major on top of an A. It goes from C major to A minor 7. If I do it with minor, C minor to A half diminished. That's its relative 6th chord in Dorian. And then a minor 2, 5. So D minor 7 flat 5, G7, right? 1, 6, 2, 5. That's a turnaround in minor. Vibey. Now, let's examine which caged chords that comes from. So C minor is an A minor form. Whenever I have half diminished chords, to find their respective caged, what I'm looking for is their upper structure, because diminished caged fucking sucks. You can't really memorize that stuff because it's just not useful. It's too wide on the guitar. But I can think about that A minor 7 flat 5 as C minor caged with an A minor form with an A in the bass. The D half diminished, I think about as an F minor with D in the bass. And then that G7 is just an E minor form. So in my mind, caged-wise, area-wise, I'm thinking C minor, F minor with a D minor form, but I'm just putting D in the bass, to G with an E form. Next area would be C minor with a G minor form. So I'm going to use this voicing. But now I'm going to use that same sort of voicing up here with A in the bass. I can even use inversions of that A half diminished chord. It's all about seeing something. So it doesn't, you can veer away from cage and see your inversions if you see them clearly housed inside that area. So here's that C minor. Here I'm going to see this C-shaped, C minor shaped F minor with D in the bass, going to this D-shaped G. So in this area, I'm probably going to play it something like this. Cool. Next area, here I have an E minor form C. To get to that A half diminished, just keep that C minor here, move that A there. I have another option too. I can see it like this. C minor, but putting A up here, right? Then I have this F minor. It's the 4 minor chord, but over D. And then I have this C-shaped G. Cool sound. Up here I have a D minor shaped C minor. I have this C minor still, right? But I'm putting A in the bass. That's my A half diminished. Then I have this form for that F minor. I'm seeing that G minor shaped F minor, but I'm putting that bass note on it, right? And then the G chord is right here. Right, with an A form. So I have this sound. All right, last location. Here I have this C minor shaped C minor. The same shape over this A root. Then F minor over this D root, and finally here, this G-shaped G. So I have these voicings. Now another thing that's super useful is taking that and just learning tunes, learning entire forms. So if I take, let's say, Blue Bossa and I apply it. Well, Blue Bossa only has a handful of chords in it. The first section, the A section, has C minor, going to F minor, going to D minor 7 flat 5, going to G7, going to C minor. So most of you play D minor 7 flat 5 either here or here. But again, if you see it as F minor caged with D in the bass, here's that first caged, you can put that D here or here. Here's the second caged, you can put the D here. Here's that third caged, that C minor shape for the F minor, you can put it here. Here's the next caged, F minor, put that here. That G minor, put it here. So it allows you to use caged for those minor 7 flat 5 chords. Now, if I do that, I can map out the tune in areas. I can play the entire form in 5 areas. So I'm going to start right here around the 3rd fret. So this is my C minor. F minor, E flat minor, A flat 7, D flat major, D minor 7 flat 5, G7, C minor. Next area. Next area. After you get that together, again, it's just about blending it all over the fretboard, but it all starts with making sense of the triads in a basketball court. Another thing you can do is just try to solo using those triad shapes in each of these areas. I'm just going to give an example of the first one, but check it out. I'm just playing straight out of the triad shapes, but I can see them moving in my mind's eye. If you dig this stuff, we have so much more on our Patreon. Join the family, over 1,600 members, and growing, and growing, and growing. And you should be there too. We have tabs, we have transcriptions. We're gonna talk about all that more in depth there in the next coming episodes. Join the YouTube, click the button, subscribe, like, comment, and we'll see you next time.